Hello, welcome back to the Cosmic Consciousness series. Subscribe to me, myself, and I, or I'll break your kneecaps. Just kidding. What was that? I'm sorry. Today we'll be covering Chapter 5, The Case of Li Er, the Great Philosopher, the Great Taoist, that is. Chapter 5, The Case of Li Er. The above named, who is commonly called Lao Tzu, the old philosopher, was born about 604 BC in Honan, China. For part of his life, perhaps a large part, he was curator in the royal library. Kung Fu Si, that is Confucius, visited Li in 517 when he, Li, that is, was in his 88th year. In the course of their conversation, Li said to Kung, "The men about whom you talk are dead and their bones are molded to dust. Only their words are left. Moreover, when the superior man gets his opportunity, he mounts aloft. But when the time is against him, he is carried along by the force of circumstances. I have heard that a good merchant, though he have rich treasures safely stored, appears as if he were poor, and that the superior man, though his virtue be complete, is yet to outward seeming stupid. Put away your proud air and many desires, your insinuating habit and wild will. They are of no advantage to you. This is all I have to tell you." Kung is made to say to his disciples after the interview, "I know birds can fly, fish swim, and animals run, but the runner may be snared, the swimmer hooked, and the flyer shot with an arrow. But there is the dragon. I cannot tell how he mounts on the wind through the clouds and rises to heaven. Today I have seen Lao Tzu and can only compare him to the dragon." It seems to have been after this meeting that Lao Tzu wrote his book on the Tao and its attributes in 5,000 characters. After writing the book, he is said to have gone away toward the northwest. It is not known when or where he died. What is this Tao? It is said to keep those who possess it young. A famous Taoist, an old man, is represented as being addressed as follows: "You are old, sir, while your complexion is like that of a child. How is it so?" And the reply is, "I became acquainted with the Tao." In the first translation of the Tao taking into any Western language, Tao is taken in the sense of ratio or the supreme reason. Abel Rimesat's account of the character Tao is, "It does not seem possible to me to translate this word except by logos in the triple sense of the sovereign being, reason, and the word." Rimesat's successor in the chair of Chinese at Paris, Stanislas Julien, who made a translation of the Tao Te Ching, decided that it was impossible to understand by Tao primordial reason or sublime intelligence, and concluded that the Tao was devoid of action, of thought, of judgment, and of intelligence. In fact, he seems, without saying so, to have traded the word synonymous, as it doubtless is, with nirvana. Finally, he translates it a way or the way, in the sense of "I am the way, the truth, and the life," and so again it becomes synonymous with Christ, with nirvana, and with our cosmic consciousness. Lao Tzu speaks of certain results which flow from the cultivation of the Tao, and if we will rightly understand his language, we shall find that it holds good of those who have the cosmic sense. He says, "He who is skillful in managing his life travels on land without having to shun rhinoceros or tiger, and enters a host without having to avoid buff coat or sharp weapon. The rhinoceros finds no place in him into which to thrust its horn, nor the tiger a place in which to fix its claws, nor the weapon a place to admit its point. And for what reason? Because there is in him no place of death. And again, he who has in himself abundantly the attributes of the Tao is like an infant. Poisonous insects will not sting him, fierce beasts will not seize him, and birds of prey will not strike him." To come down to our day here in America to illustrate this passage. Whew. The writer has seen Walt Whitman on Long Island, New York, remain on a veranda a whole long summer evening, the air being literally loaded with mosquitoes. These would settle upon him in large numbers, but he did not appear to notice them. From time to time he waved a palm leaf fan which he held in his hand, but did not use it or his other hand to drive away or kill any of the mosquitoes. He did not appear to be bitten or in any way annoyed by the small creatures who were driving the rest of the party almost wild. It is well known that Walt Whitman came and went freely and with impunity for years, off and on as he pleased among the most dangerous people of New York. It has never been said that he was at any time molested or even spoken roughly to. As to the life of the possessor of the Tao, that if that is cosmic consciousness, being indestructible by tigers or other wild beasts or armed men, that is the simple truth. Again, it is said of the Tao that its highest excellence is like that of water. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things, and in its occupying without striving to the contrary the low ground which all men dislike. Hence, its way is near to that of the Tao. There is nothing in the world more soft and weak than water, and yet for attacking things that are firm and strong there is nothing that can take precedence of it. Everyone in the world knows that the soft overcomes the hard, and the weak the strong, but no one is able to carry it out in practice. So Whitman says of the cosmic sense, what is commonest, cheapest, meanest, easiest is me. And again, there is nothing so soft but it makes a hub for the wheeled universe to rest upon, I guess. It is said further that it is the way of the Tao to act without thinking of acting, to conduct affairs without feeling the trouble of them, to taste without discerning any flavor, to consider the small as great and the few as many, and to recompense injury with kindness. Here follows a few passages from Liar's book, The Tao Te King, accompanied by parallel passages from the sayings or writings of other men possessed of cosmic consciousness. Ordinary men look bright and intelligent, while I alone seem to be benighted. They look full of discrimination, while I alone am dull and confused. It seems to be carried out about as on the sea, drifting as if I had nowhere to rest. All men have their sphere of action, while I alone seem dull and incapable like a rude borderer. Thus I alone am different from other men, but I value the nursing mother, the Tao, that is the Tao. So a correlation verse was seen in here. Behold this swarthy face, these gray eyes, this beard, the white wool unclipped upon my neck, my brown hands, and the silent manner of me without charm. And the foxes have holes, and the birds of the heaven have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to even lay his head. Okay, so continuing. The partial becomes complete, the crooked straight, the empty full, the worn out new. He whose desires are few gets them. He whose desires are many goes astray. Okay, so the felon steps forth from the prison, the insane becomes sane, the throat that was unsound is sound, the lungs of the consumptive are resumed, and the poor distressed head is free. Okay, back to the Tao. The Tao, considering as unchanging, has no name. Though in its primordial simplicity it may be small, the whole world dares not deal with one embodying it as a minister. If a feudal prince or king could guard or hold it, all would spontaneously submit themselves to him. Heaven and earth under his guidance, that is, unite together and send down sweet dew, which without the directions of men reaches equally everywhere as of its own accord. Okay, so another passage parallel to it. It is like a grain of mustard seed, which when it is sown upon the earth, though it be less than all the seeds that are on the earth, yet when it is sown, groweth up and becometh greater than all the herbs, and putteth out great branches, so that the birds of heaven can lodge under the shadow thereof. That is very similar to that, yes. To him who holds in his hands the great image of the invisible Tao, the whole world repairs. Men resort to him and receive no hurt, but find rest, peace, and the feeling of ease. Music and dainties will make the passing guest stop for a time. But though the Tao as it comes from the mouth seems insipid and has no flavor, though it seems not worth being looked at or listened to, the use of it is inexhaustible. Okay? So the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, of the cosmic sense that is, for they are foolishness unto him. The teachings of the cosmic sense are always tasteless and inspired at first, but their use is inexhaustible. Forever. Lasts forever, baby. Without going outside his door, back to Tao. Without going outside his door, one understands all that takes place under the sky. Without looking out from his window, one sees the Tao of heaven. The farther that one goes out from himself, the less he knows. Okay, so a parallel passage to it. In vain the speeding or shyness, in vain objects stand leagues off and assume manifold shapes. I but use you a minute, then I resign you, stallion. Why do I need your paces when I myself outgallop them? Even as I stand or sit passing faster than you. Good. Okay, back to Tao. He who has in himself abundantly the attributes of the Tao is like an infant. Poisonous insects will not sting him, birds of prey will not strike him. He who knows the Tao does not care to speak about it. He who is ever ready to speak about it does not know it. He who knows it will keep his mouth shut and close the portals of his nostrils. He will blunt his sharp points and unravel the complications of things. He will attempt his brightness and bring himself into agreement with the obscurity of others. This is called the mysterious agreement. Such as one cannot be treated familiarly, or distantly. He is beyond all consideration of profit or injury, of nobility or meanness. He is the noblest man under heaven. All right, so let's go back to those parallel passages again. Okay, what is commonest, cheapest, meanest, easiest is me. Will you seek far off? You surely come back at last. To see no possession, but you may possess it, enjoying all without labor or purchase, abstracting the feast, yet not abstracting one particle of it. To take the best of the farmer's farm and the rich man's elegant villa, and the chaste blessings of the well-married couple, and the fruits of the orchards, and the flowers of their gardens, to gather the minds of men out of their brains and love out of their hearts. Why don't you? Whosoever, whatever, I cannot, the Bible's so hard to understand. Whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a child, he shall no wise enter them. Huh? Didn't you just say that? I don't know. It is curious that men with cosmic consciousness will not speak of it. Years ago, when the writer was as intimate with Walt Whitman as he ever was with any of his brothers, he tried hard to get to Whitman to tell him something about it, for he knew, like as if he knew, well, there was something special to tell, and Whitman knew what he knew already, but he could never extract a word from the poet. These men put in their writings in an impersonal manner, but will hardly ever speak face to face of their personal experiences. These are too sacred to be dealt with in that manner, I'd say. Okay. Its admirable words can purchase honor, admirable deeds can raise their performer above others. Even men who are not good are not abandoned by it. It is the way of the Tao to act without thinking of acting, to conduct affairs without feeling the trouble of them, to taste without discerning any flavor, to consider what is small is great, and as few is many, and to recompense injury with kindness. That whereby the rivers and seas are able to receive the homage and tribute of all the valley streams is their skill in being lower than they. It is thus that they are the kings of them all. So it is the sage ruler, wishing to be above men, puts himself by his words below them, and wishing to be before them, places his person behind them. All the world says that, while the Tao is great, it appears yet to be inferior to other systems, that is, of teaching. Now it is just its greatness that makes it seem to be inferior. If it were like any other system, like such as the big bad wolf of Christianity, for long would its smallness have been known. But I have three precious things which I prize and hold fast. The first is gentleness, the second is economy, and the third is shrinking from taking precedence of others. With that gentleness I can be bold, with that economy I can be liberal. Shrinking from taking precedence of others, I can become a vessel of the highest honor. Nowadays they give up gentleness and are all for being bold. Yeah, they are abusive. Economy and are all for being liberal, the hindmost place, and seek only to be foremost, all of the which the end is death. Yeah, I like how, see, they pretend like they're so small and so weak and all that, but all they ever do is abuse people. Like, how does that justify abuse? Sincere words are not fine, fine words are not sincere. Those who are skilled in the Tao do not dispute about it. The disputations are not skilled in it. Those who know the Tao, that is, are not extensively learned. The extensively learned and do not know it. Well, I can say out west we have a name for people like that, but I can't use words like that on this video. If you know, you know. Then came Peter and said to him, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Until 7 times. Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. But I say unto you, love your enemies and pray for them that they persecute you even worse. Whosoever would become great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever would be first among you shall be your servant. Consider and compare the lives and teachings of Gautama, Paul, Whitman, Carpenter, and Muhammad, and nearly all the other great cases. Logic and sermons never convince. I cannot beguile the time with talk alone. Okay, and so, in the learned coterie sitting constrained and still for learning and knowers not to meet. If any man thinketh that he is wise among you in this world, let him become a fool, that he may become wise. Thank you, brothers and sisters.